Hello, American people. This is Ken Honda speaking. In this video, I would like to talk about the preliminary battle for the big comeback in the U.S. presidential, Senate, and Congressional elections on November 5, 2024. The battle took place in Japan on 1 month ago in October. As you all know, on November 5, 2024, the U.S. presidential, Senate, and Congressional elections were held, and it was decided that Mr. Trump would become the 47th President of the United States. Mr. Trump received 312 votes, and Harris received 226 votes. This is a distribution of votes by state. This will be Mr. Trump's second time, as he was the president for 4 years before the current president, Mr. Biden. The American people said no to the 4-year reign of this Democratic President Biden, and once again entrusted the helm of the country to Republican President Trump. President Trump's catchphrase is MAGA, Make America Great Again. This is about stopping the extremely liberal policies raising to the standard of living of ordinary American citizens and restoring common sense. On this day, elections were held for the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and the Republican Party, led by Trump, won a majority of seats. In the U.S. Congress, the Republican Party gained seats in both the Senate and House of Representatives, achieving a triple red. This figure shows the election results as of November 14th, 2024. First of all, congratulations to Mr. Trump, who was elected President of the United States. For the past 4 years, Mr. Trump has endured all kinds of persecution from the Democratic Party and the deep state, and has continued to make great efforts and perseverance to take the United States back into the hands of the American people, increasing his number of supporters, and now he has returned to the presidency. And that's not all. He led the Republican Party and led politicians and ordinary citizens so that the Republican Party would occupy the majority of both the Senate and House of Representatives of U.S. Congress. I look forward to President Trump's success over the next 4 years. The results of the election mean that the American people have said no to the policies of the Democratic Party led by Biden. Americans may not know this, but in October 15th, Japan also had a Shogi election and a national referendum on Supreme Court justices. Shogi election is like the House of Representatives in the United States. A major reversal occupied at the election. That was very similar to the U.S. election on November 5th. And the Japanese died. The ruling coalition consisting of Liberal Democratic Party and the Komeito Party lost its majority. Why did reversal occur? It is because the Japanese people said no to the ruling party's policies that followed the Biden administration in the United States. Furthermore, feeling of righteous anger was created to Japanese people at the arrogant attitude of the U.S. ambassador to Japan, Raul Israel Emanuel. Let me explain in detail. The Japanese diet is composed of the Shogi and the Sangi. The Sangi is like the U.S. Senate, and Shogi is like House of Representatives. This election this time is for Shogi. The Shogi has 465 seats. The ruling coalition of the Liberal Democratic Party and the Komeito Party held a majority of 270 seats before the election. But after the election, they lost 55 seats to 215, falling below the majority. In this figure, Liberal Democratic Party is shown in red and the Komeito Party in pink. The Liberal Democratic Party lost the most seats. On the other hand, the opposition party's seat last election, the Rikken Minshu Party, the Nippon Ishin no Kai Party, and the Kokumin Minshu Party significantly increased seats. The Rikken Minshu Party is shown in blue, the Nippon Ishin no Kai Party in yellow, and the Kokumin Minshu in navy blue. Let me explain the national referendum on Supreme Court judges. This is a national referendum is supposed to take place during the Shugin election. Japanese people can nominate the Supreme Court judges they want to dismiss. 6 judges were reviewed this time, and all were given in a vote of confidence as a result. However, there were 4 judges out of 6 with a non-confidence rate of over 10%. This is the first time this has happened since I reviewed in year of 2000. How should we interpret this incident? I think the Japanese people said no to the Supreme Court's decisions. For this review, the Japanese people are given materials on which cases each judge made on what decisions they made. This table shows the summary. The lawsuit indicated by the arrows are cases pursued by LGBTQ activists in the United States and were filed by Japanese activists in response to the cases. The Japanese Supreme Court ruled that the case filed by LGBTQ activists were unconstitutional. This caused by Japanese traditions and a view of men and women and the family to collapse. Many Japanese people felt unacceptable about this, so 10.46% of Japanese people refused to be judges. This is the first time in the last 24 years. Why did this strange change happen? There are 3 keywords to consider when thinking about this issue. They are the LGBT law, Prime Minister Kishida, who enacted it, and U.S. Ambassador to Japan Emmanuel. Most Japanese Diet members were not interested in the LGBT law at first, but U.S. Ambassador to Japan Emmanuel put strong pressure to Prime Minister Kishida to enact it. The relationship can be diagrammed as follows. The Japanese people felt righteous anger to Ambassador Emmanuel's forceful political methods and the Biden administration that allowed it. Let's think about the Japan-U.S. relationship. Shinzo Abe served as Japan's prime minister for a total of 8 years during both Obama and Trump's 4-year terms as president. President Trump and the Prime Minister Abe worked together and did a great job for world peace and prosperity. The political platform of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who became the Prime Minister of Japan in 2012, was Reclaim Japan, while President Trump's was MAGA, Make America Great Again, which was a common platform. The two teamed up to achieve world peace and prosperity. This relationship continued until Mr. Abe was assassinated in July 2022. This assassination is shrouded in mystery, similar to the assassination of JFK and attempted assassination of candidate Mr. Trump. Let's return to the 2024 presidential election. This is a table comparing policies of Trump's Republican Party and Harris's Democratic Party. Comparing those policies, we can see that the Democratic Party is trying to make the American people subservient to the government and large corporations like a communist country. And so-called deep state, which is made of high-ranking U.S. bureaucrats, investors, and industrialists, is pushing this from behind the scenes. It's extremely gratifying that American people have said no to those policies put forward by the Democratic Party. There are many reasons for this, but there are 2 major ones. his policy of allowing unlimited immigrants into the country and giving them the right to vote. No one knows exactly how many people have illegally entered the U.S. and crossed the border from Mexico, but it's thought to be more than 20 million. The American people will be aware of the damages enough caused by this. In Japan, the number of foreign workers has increased rapidly, causing many problems, but we will not go into that here. The other is the LGBTQ movement. In the U.S., LGBTQ activists have infiltrated educational institutions, allowing men to enter changing rooms and toilets as women if they identify as women. This has led to many cases of women being raped. They also recommended sex reassignment surgery for young boys and girls. There have been tragedies in which young boys and girls who have modified their genitals before their gender identity has been established have suffered irreparable losses. In these elections, American people have said no to the Biden Democratic administration, which has caused such problems. Incidentally, President Biden took office as the President of the United States in January 2021. 10 months later, then in November, Fumio Kishida became Prime Minister, and he has been thought to be strongly influenced by the Democratic Party of the United States by Japanese people. And in December of the same year, Rahm Emanuel, nominated by President Biden, was confirmed as the U.S. ambassador to Japan. He is a hardcore globalist with a history of serving as the mayor of Chicago, chief of staff to President Obama, and senior advisor to the President Clinton. I heard that he had a strong desire to achieve success as a democratic political bureaucrat and become the U.S. ambassador to Japan. I heard that he wanted to become Secretary of State if President Biden was re-elected. If that didn't work, he wanted to become a senator. Then the LGBT Awareness Promotion Act, called LGBT Law, was passed by the National Diet in June 2023, published and put into effect. Let me explain the background leading up to the enactment of the LGBT law. There were also political forces in Japan that responded to the LGBT movement in the United States. They tried to enact the LGBT law in 2020, but there was strong opposition from both the ruling and opposition parties, and the bill was scrapped in 2021. However, in 2023, the Kishida administration made off-the-record comments about enacting the LGBT law, and the bill was quickly passed into law. It is said that this was because Ambassador Emanuel put intense pressure to Prime Minister Kishida. Ambassador Emanuel apparently told Prime Minister Kishida that if the LGBT law was not passed, it would be a shame at the G7 summit. However, Emanuel's argument had flaws. For example, none of the G7 member countries have LGBT laws. In addition, Article 14 of the Japanese Constitution prohibits all kinds of discriminations. Also, Japan has historically accepted homosexuals. There has never been a law banning homosexuality in Japan, like in the United States. This means that the LGBT law was not required in Japan. This is obvious that Emmanuel has neither studied nor respected Japanese culture. Homosexuals demonstrated in front of the Diet building in opposition to the passing of the LGBT law. They argue that homosexuality has been accepted in Japanese society, so they should be left alone. The LGBT law was opposed by a majority within the Liberal Democratic Party. However, despite these oppositions, Prime Minister Kishida overcame opposition from within his party and passed the LGBT law as a private member's bill. After the LGBT law was passed, the Liberal Democratic Party's appeal rating among women dropped from 33% range to 24%. This is because it became legal for men to enter women's restrooms and public baths. Women feared being raped in toilets and public baths. Japanese courts also supported the policies of the U.S. Democratic Party. This was very, very curious. They might be influenced by somebody from the Democratic Party in the U.S., I'm afraid of. Both the primary court and the Supreme Court ruled that the law requiring surgery to exchange gender was unconstitutional. Following the passage of the LGBT law, the Japanese government issued notices to local governments demanding that Japanese citizens follow the principles of the LGBT law. Japanese civil servants are very loyal, so they have begun various activities in accordance with the LGBT law. The LGBT law seems to have the intention of first enacting a law and then forcibly changing Japanese culture to conform to it. Emmanuel moved the Kishida administration and destroyed Japanese culture in order to achieve his personal success in the U.S. according to the rumor. He acted on behalf of the U.S. and made many Japanese people to hate him and U.S. Emmanuel must not know that Japan is a country with the world's oldest dynasty dating back 2,600 years. That is still in operation. Also, Japan has the world's longest metaphysical history dating back 17,000 years, and that Japanese culture is built on the accumulation of such history. Loud Israel, Emmanuel, the Japanese people are really mad about you. I would like President Trump to work to restore the Japan-U.S. relationship of the past Trump-Abe era. I will spare no effort to help achieve this.